What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Brendan and I'm BManX45, and today we're coming at you with another video. We finally have our gameplay review and storyline review for Spider-Man 2 by Marvel and Sony. So I played this game as soon as it came out. I played the crap out of it. I even got the collector's edition later on. So this was a really cool game. Spider-Man 2, great game, great gameplay, just a lot of fun. I did feel a lot like the first game. You know, a lot of the gameplay was the same, but I love the first game, so I mean, I don't even mind that. I even enjoyed the Miles Morales game. This game was really cool components. I don't know if I loved it as much as the first one, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But still a really fun game, and I think they did a good job. I have a few nitpicks here and there, but other than that, it was an amazing experience. So we'll get into it right now. And hey, if you enjoy this type of content, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single minute of the fun. Without further ado, we're going to get into it. We're going to have some spoiler warnings. If you haven't played the game, you might want to go watch or play the game before you watch this, because I will get into some spoilers here. So it picks up right after the events, of Miles Morales. Both Spider-Mans working together to protect New York City. You got Miles Morales, and you have Peter Parker, the OG Spider-Man, and they are, going about their lives. Peter's got a new job at Miles' school as a teacher, which doesn't last long because Sandman goes on a rampage, and and Miles have to stop it. The Sandman boss battle was phenomenal. It was a really cool way to kick off the game, because in the other game you kicked off with like kind of a plain Jane kind of baddie situation with Kingpin, so very non-powers kind of thing. But this was kind of a cool way to start the game off. Big fight. Obviously, if you look at the pictures, you can see Venom and the Venom suit for Spider-Man are big parts of this game. The symbiotes are a big part of this game. Harry Osborn is the vehicle for that, not Eddie Brock or Jameson's son going into space. If you've seen some of the TV shows, is the catalyst. So Harry is dying basically from the same condition that killed his mom, and his dad had found the symbiote when it crashed on Earth and used it to save Harry's life. It also explains Dr. Connor losing his arm as them cutting his arm off so the symbiote wouldn't attach to him. So that was kind of a neat draw in there, because they have Dr. Connors in there as well. There are some really cool boss battles. Kravinoff the Hunter. Kraven the Hunter is the bad guy. He's trying to find all of the really strong predatory villains and get them, hunt them and get them to hunt him to see if they're good enough to kill him. He's basically he's got cancer, and he's trying to stop from dying in what he considers to be a non-noble way. So there's a lot of stuff. A lot of villains die. Scorpion dies. I think Vulture dies. There's a whole bunch more guys that die. And he targets a lot of different villains, and he targets the Spider-Man too, as well. So that's kind of big. At one point, Peter is mortally wounded, and Harry has been helping him now that Harry has superpowers because of the suit, and the suit goes on to Peter to save his life, because that's what Harry wanted. And at the same time, I guess the suit probably wanted to, feel the power that Peter had as Spider-Man, his strength that he already had, and maybe kind of adapt that and take some of it for its own. And now Harry's dying again, so they're trying to find a way to get this suit off of Peter and back onto Harry. And then that enters with the foray into the Lizard, with Kraven trying to bring out Dr. Connor's inner villain. And so that was cool. The stuff with the Lizard was very cool as well. And the stuff with Venom later on when you finally get the suit off. The same weakness as always, the sound vibrations that cause it to go insane is the only way to get the suit off. When Miles helps Peter get the suit off, he tries to destroy it or put it somewhere safe, and ends up having Harry attack him because Harry feels like he's not being a real friend, and he wasn't when he had the suit on. And then the suit consumes Harry, and in his rage creates venom. So that's how venom is created. So you have the venom, venom being one of the main bosses. You have the fight with where you get to play as Venom and kill Craven basically, and that was a brutal fight and a really cool way to do it, to take it, because having Peter out of commission and Miles not there and basically having you play as Venom was a very cool part of the story. And I definitely agree that that was a really cool addition to it. And then, of course, you have Peter trying to take down the symbiote hives and take down Venom and save Harry, which kind of works in a 50-50 method. They think they're going to kill him, and he doesn't want to kill his best friend, and Miles ends up saving the day. But now Harry is in a coma, and Norman is upset with Spider-Man because he couldn't save his son perfectly. I mean, he's still alive, so it's just kind of, Norman being Norman, which is a dick always and forever. Norman is just a dick. But that's kind of part of it. They also potentially lead up to a third Spider-Man. They kind of hint at a third Spider-Man, with Norman going to talk to Octavius at the end, saying, what are you writing? And he says, the final act. So that's kind of where that leaves off. You have the relationship of Mary Jane and Peter growing and evolving in this game, as well as relationships between Miles and his friends. You have Miles kind of coming into his own as a more confident Spider-Man, and even taking up the mantle of this New York's main Spider-Man as Peter tries to move back and do more things as Peter Parker than as Spider-Man, which I'll talk about in a second too. So that's kind of the basic story premise of the game. I didn't want to spoil too many things. Side missions are okay; they're pretty cool. Same kind of like just go fetch me quests. Generally, I think the Mysterio ones were the coolest ones. I thought the Venom hives are just hack and slash missions. There are some cool flight missions and stuff like that, because you have the glide suits, which are really cool for traversal. They definitely made traversal a lot easier and fun, and the fact that they opened up all of Brooklyn and stuff like that. Brooklyn on the other side of the bay basically, so you're not just in New York, because the map is the same, right? The map of New York is the same, but they've added Brooklyn and a few and all the places on kind of the side there. So that's really kind of cool that they've added all that. I do enjoy that. You got to fight Mary Jane as a infected symbiote creature, like Scream. They called her Scream. So that was kind of cool. Yeah. So there was definitely some really cool things in the game. I don't think the game made me as emotional as the first one did when Aunt May died. That was something that really, I was just like I teared up, because I was like, this is like intense. Like, this is more intense than any Spider-Man movie. And it got me right in the feels when Aunt May died. So that was... Oh, sorry guys, it's early in the morning and I'm tired and working night shifts. But that was just an incredible moment. Gameplay, like I said, a lot of it was quite the same, very similar, but all otherwise solid. You had some characters that showed up, like Black Cat and stuff like that. Yuri showed up as the Wraith. You even had a nod to Carnage at one point. He was you know, stealing another symbiote from Oscorp, and then he had the Carnage symbiote, and it was just kind of like we're not going to get into this, but here's Carnage, and he's gone. Basically, he never puts the symbiote on himself, but it's like, oh, as soon as he gets the symbiote and it's red, and you see his red hair, you're like, oh, I know who this is, and stuff like that. So that was interesting. Your anti-venom suit's really cool. That's a really cool part of the game. The anti-venom suit is a really cool part, and it just kind of goes hand in hand with the whole like venom thing too. The suit options are really cool. There's a lot of different cool suits you can pick up and upgrade, and the upgrades are pretty good. I like the addition of the venom and the anti-venom powers that give you like cool finishers. That's a really cool part. Combat's pretty much the same. Web swinging is pretty much the same. Traversal does get a little bit easier with the glide wings, and there are some other things. I don't know too much about the gadgets because I never use the gadgets. Like, I use some of the gadgets, but not a lot of them. So yeah, the gadgets never really do it for me. And like I said, storyline was really good. There were some cool side things, like I said, with Mysterio being one of them. You kind of got a side quest with a boss battle for Mysterio, so that was cool. Again, I told you the Sandman battle was phenomenal. The Lizard battle is really cool, and even the Venom one is really cool. I just don't feel like there was a lot of like Kraven was kind of boring because it was just I'm super strong and a hunter. So Kravenoff was interesting because he uses like a bell to disrupt your abilities, but it was, other than that, it was just a plain battle. Whereas like I really loved the battles from the first game, like with the Sinister Six, was just amazing, and I don't feel like they recreated that in this game. They did a good job of giving you an array of fun and villains to kind of get through, like especially with Mary Jane's scream. That was kind of cool too, but nothing is as epic as the Sinister Six in the first game. Like, that was just one after another, just super cool, super intense. Like, I definitely think that the Sinister Six was a good move for the first game, and I just don't think they recaptured the glory of that in the second game. They did do a great job with storyline. I don't necessarily agree with the decision to make Miles the main Spider-Man going forward. I think Peter's story's still got a lot to tell, and I think like Miles is a great character, but Miles never really embraces. I wouldn't say embraces, but he never has the connection to a lot of the villains that Peter has. Like, in the stories, Peter had such a connection to a lot of the villains and stuff like that, which is something I don't think Miles has with those main villains. Miles has some of his own villains, but I don't think he has such a huge connection to a lot of the villains like Peter did. So, I mean, like, it just doesn't make sense for, like, game 3, Octavius is planning some big, thing, and he's going to be messing with Peter, but why would he mess with Miles? Why don't he just kill Miles? Miles is important to him. Peter is. So it's just kind of, to me, it feels like the wrong direction to go. Like, trying to make Miles like the bigger character. I mean, Miles is a great character. I just don't think he, is what needs to lead this franchise, because they built it in such a place where it's so centered on the stories of Peter Parker and Peter Parker's life, with an addition of Miles Morales in there, and it just doesn't feel like that's gonna resonate, I think, with a lot of people. But I mean, we'll see what happens in the third game. I mean, I just don't think that Miles is at this point is kind of the way to go. I'm glad they didn't kill Peter off. That would have been kind of sad. And the story, I mean, is all about Peter and Norman's going to probably turn into Green Goblin and try and save Harry, and it's just not going to work out, and Peter's going to have to fight his best friend's dad and stuff like that, and potentially he might die and stuff like that. So there's lots of cool possibilities for the third game, but I definitely think that Peter being the focal point of the story again is still like, and some of the character development for Miles felt really weird, like with his like he was doing everything right all game, and Peter was being a jerk all game because of the symbiote suit, and it was like, well, no, Miles was doing some stuff that he shouldn't either. He was getting worked up. He was, obsessing about Martin Lee. It just, yeah. And then we kind of just forgot all about that and stuff like that. And like, no, he was perfect, and Peter was just, it was just kind of weird how they kind of 180'd that. But I mean, those are my thoughts of the game. It was a really great game. It was a really fun experience. Like I said, the ending was kind of meh, but I mean, sorry, the ending was kind of meh, but the actual ending with Harry was really well done. And I do think Miles Morales is an important part of the Spider Universe, and that he had a really good role to play in this game. I just think they overplayed it a little bit. But that's just my opinion. And if you guys don't feel that way, I mean, hey, like I said, I really enjoyed the game still. And if there's some DLC, I'll probably play it. And I would love to play a third Spider-Man. But tell me your guys' thoughts. Have you played this game? Do you like it? Are you planning on playing the game? Do you think that it's worth a playthrough? And, tell me if you guys think that that Miles Morales going forward is the right choice for Spider-Man. And if we should just not see Peter in the third game. I personally don't think that's the case, but I mean, everyone has their own opinion, and we like to hear differing opinions on here and talk about things. So thank you guys for checking this out. Looks like that's all the time we have for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we hope to see you in the next video. And as always, have a wonderful day, and that's all for now, folks.